When the people of Morpeth found out that the great and powerful wizard Michael Scott was coming to their town, they were very excited indeed, for he was the greatest wizard of that time or any time. Anyone who knew the slightest part of a story or a tidbit of a tale were welcome to come and sit by a fireside and tell the tale, and many people dined out on even half a tale. But there was a man, and he knew this. He told the tale of when Michael Scott was walking along a deep, dark path, and up jumped an imp, a terrible imp, and the imp spoke to him in this way: "Oh, you are Michael Scott, and I shall set you a challenge. You need to set me 3 tasks, and if I cannot complete all 3 of them, you will never see me again. But if I can complete them, then you will be my slave forever." Michael Scott was not one who would put a wager or a duel or a bet to one side. He looked towards this imp and spoke. "Well, my fine friend from the underworld, I will set you one task, and I do not think that you will be able to do it. It is to make a dam across the Tweed at Kelso." And it was almost as soon as these words had spilled from his lips that there it was, a dam across the Tweed at Kelso. Michael Scott thought of another task that he would set for this imp. He said, "My dear friend who dwells underneath the ground, I would wish for you to split the great mountain, the Cheviot, in 2. No sooner had he said it than on one side there was the Cheviot, and upon the other there was Hedgehope. But now he was worried, because in that place he only had to make one more task for this imp, and he spoke to him and said this: "You must take all of the sea sand that covers the whole of this place, and you must make it into a rope." But now the look in the imp's eye was terrible to behold, for this was a challenge that scared him. But sure enough, down the imp went to the side of the sea and grabbed a handful of salty sea sand and another and placed them together and tried to make them into a rope. And to this day, that imp is still there trying to make a rope out of salty sea sand. There was a woman. She knew another story. And this was the story of why the great and powerful Michael Scott was coming to Morpeth in the first place. For there was the King of Scotland, and he had entreated the King of all Paris to stop sending his pirates to sink all of the Scottish ships. He had sent ambassadors and envoys and gifts and all kinds of different ways of entreating the French king to stop sinking the Scottish boats with his pirates. But the French king would have none of it. He would take the gifts. He would take and strip the clothes from the ambassadors and the envoys. But he did not stop the pirates. And so the King of France was going to be sent Michael Scott. Michael Scott had been asked by the King of Scotland to go, but Michael Scott did not take presents and gifts or try to be any kind of an ambassador. All he did was, with all of his charms, he conjured up a huge black horse, a huge horse. When he arrived in France, the King of Paris stood there and looked. "So what is it that you have brought for me?" Michael Scott looked. "I have brought for you a horse that will teach you a lesson." "Well, I do not like it," said the King of all Paris. "I do not like the horse." "Well, please your majesty, please let